Hey guys, it's OJ here. Welcome to MY24, and in this video I'm gonna go through a calculator and a strategy, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so less than 5 days left till the launch. We can see it's 4 days and 21 hours. We have already over 15,000 members with going on 16. My bet was that we're gonna be between 16 and 17,000 members when we launch. By the look of it, we might even surpass the 17,000, which means I will lose the bet. In any case, we're doing really well, and you know, it's becoming really popular, very big, very soon. So what do we need to know about my 24-hour income? I've already covered in different videos, but if you haven't seen them, I'm just gonna go very quickly through it. We have 4 types of ad packs. There was one that was just added recently, so maybe you're not aware of that. The first level, first tier, is $5 per ad pack. It earns 110%, and it brings around 3.8% per day. It's not going to be a fixed amount. This will be variable. On weekends possibly it will go down a little bit, and during the week it will be higher. In the beginning, when everyone is buying ad packs and everything, I'm pretty sure it will be 3.8. It might go down later on. So this is variable. This makes it a little bit difficult for us when we do the calculations and everything. So I'm going to show you what I've done in my calculator just in a couple of minutes. Now the second tier ad pack is $15, and that brings 115%. Most likely that plan will be bringing about 2.5% daily return, because that plan will be less popular than the first one, of course. So with less funds going into that plan, it will probably be paying out slightly less per day. It will still bring 115% in total. It will just take a little bit longer. The third plan is $35, and that brings 120% maturity. You have again 3.8 is the total, is the maximum that it will be paying, but that will be on days when people are buying a lot of these ad packs. On days when people are not buying many, you will go down probably to 1.8 to maybe 2.5%. And now there is a fourth plan, which is $75, and this plan matures at 130%. Now that will probably bring around, I would say, 1.8%. I don't think this will be bringing much higher, especially in the beginning, because people need to first max out every plan before they can move to the next one, and you max out each plan with 100 packs. So it's quite a lot of money. We can go into the calculator in a minute. Before that, I just want to point out we have the owner here, Burton. Now we have also a partner who is the IT guy. He's the guy who is, you know, in charge with the IT side of the business, the website and the management and all of that for him. And the change here, the new thing that I need to point out is that you can't use Solid Trust Pay. It will not be available because Solid Trust Pay have a very low limit per day. It's something like $10,000 per day you can withdraw from Solid Trust Pay, and for business $10,000 is something that will happen in an hour. So Solid Trust Pay is out of the game. We're gonna work with Payer, Perfect Money, Payza and Bitcoin through coin payments. The last thing I want to point out before I jump into the calculator is that you need to join the official Facebook group. This is the My24-Hour official Facebook group. Here in the files section you will find this calculator here, the compounding. It's called compounding calculator, but it's not really compounding. I'll show you what I mean by that. It's still something that you can use, and it's the most accurate so far. None of the calculators are really accurate, and I'm going to explain why, but this is why I don't really recommend to follow calculators very closely. There's something that you should just use as a rough idea. Okay, so this is the main calculator that we have, and you know, this calculator is only designed for the first 3 prices of ad packs, because the last one was added just a couple of days ago, so it's not yet reflected in this file. But nevertheless, we don't really need to look at the 4th tier. I'm not even looking at the 3rd tier at the moment, because I know that many people will start with under $1,000 or around 1,000, but not really 2 or 3 or 5K. You will probably try to have a strategy where you can withdraw a certain amount per day. This will be quite difficult to predict with MY24 because you have 3 different tiers and each of them will be earning differently. So it will be, and this will be variables, so 380 will not be all the time, 250 will not be all the time. So I would suggest that we take slightly smaller amounts, like I would put 3% here, because if it's 380 in some days and it goes down to 180 or 2.5 on other days, we can safely suggest that 3% is kind of in between. So let's say that I start with $500. That means that I will be making 15 per day at 3%, roughly around 15 per day. Okay, let's first explain what these different graphs do. So we have the first tab is your tiers, the prices, the cost of each tier. Then you have the profit here. This is what you are making on each one, 110%, 115, 120. This is your daily return that all of these packs will be bringing. The next one is how many days you would roughly have for this to expire if, you know, this is the rate of maturity. If this drops below, then you would have more days, but it's around 36 days that it will take for your first tier ad packs to expire. And this is where the compounding kind of stops, because this doesn't really show me how do I compound. This is why I had to do another calculator, which I basically estimated by hand. This is not an automated calculator, so I can't really send you that file. I can send you this file, but you can't really make any changes on it because it's something that I had to enter manually. Okay, so let's say that I start with 500, which is what I'm planning to do, and that is 100 packs on level 1 tier, first tier. That is the maximum I can get, which means that from my earnings from now on, if I max that out on day 1, I will be earning $15 per day, and when I start compounding, I will be buying ad packs on the second tier. The second tier costs $15, so I will be waiting until I have $35, I'll tell you why, and I'll be buying 2 packs in one go. Now what happens is I'm earning $15 per day. This tab here is showing me my daily earnings. This is showing me my total. So if I've got something from the previous day, when I add it with the next day's earnings, the total will be here reflected. If I'm withdrawing, that will be shown here. And I'm gonna hide my camera now. Oh no, I can move it here. In this last graph, we can see what is left after I take out money. So when I take out 35, we can see here I've got 10 left. If I have nothing left, it will be 0. Okay. So I start with 100 ad packs. That is worth $500 and it's earning me 15 per day. So on day 1, I'm gonna have 15. I can't withdraw it because the minimum withdrawal is set to 35. So I need to wait until I have at least $35 in the system and then I can withdraw that. So what happens is I'll wait the second day, and on the third day I will have 45. And then I can withdraw 35 and I'm going to leave 10 here. Why? Because if I leave it here, I can then wait for the next day when I'm going to get another 15.90 and I'm going to have 25.90, and this way I'm going to be closer to the next withdrawal, which will happen after another day when I'm going to have 40 and I can take 35. So that's why I'm only taking the 35. I'm not taking 45 here, because that way I will have to wait even longer to get another 35. So that's the first thing. So the first couple of days I'm just waiting to accumulate enough funds that I can withdraw. On the third day I'm withdrawing 35, and let's assume that 5 of this will cover my payment processor fees. So I will be spending $30 and I'll be buying 2 ad packs on the second level because they cost $15. So now I have the 100 on level 1 plus 2, which is level 2. This is worth $530. So this is what I have in the system, $530 now. Then I'm going to start earning $15.90. I assume, of course, this I estimate at roughly 3% per day earnings, but some days will be lower than 3%. So we have to assume that these figures will be around these kind of amounts, but they're not going to be exact. And this is why I'm saying that it's very difficult to predict exactly what you will do. So we're taking this very, very roughly. Yeah? It's absolutely not a set kind of amount. Around 1590 I'll be earning, I'll be compounding. After another day I will be having 40, so I can withdraw another 35. I can buy another 2 packs. So now I have 4 on the second tier. And then after another day I will be able to buy another 2, and another day will pass, and another 2, and so on. This way I will keep compounding, and I'm only buying ad packs on the second level, right? Don't forget the second level also earns a little bit slower than the first level. Another thing is that sometimes I'm withdrawing 35 and I'm leaving some money to accumulate. Sometimes I'm withdrawing 49 here because this is 3 ad packs here that I want to buy. So 45 I will spend on ad packs, the other 4 will be my fees on payment processors, so that's why I'm withdrawing slightly more. And I'm leaving a little bit here again so that I can accumulate it, and then I can withdraw another 49, buy another 3. So you see that towards the end of my cycle, and my cycle ends on somewhere around the 36th day, we can see that towards the end of my cycle, which is towards the end of the first month, I have already doubled my original money, which is 500. I started with 500. Here I have 1000. Now, of course, very soon my first 100 ad packs will expire, so they will drop. So what I'm doing now, I'm buying ad packs on the second level, but I know that maybe in a week or something like that my first level ad packs will expire because they would reach maturity, and I know that I would want to buy ad packs on the first level again because they are the ones that earn the highest. They're the ones that earn the fastest, which means that I get the return much sooner than everything else, and it's in my interest to always have most of my money in the first level. So now I stop buying and I start accumulating. By the end of my cycle, I would have $1,010 money in my account, which will be 100 ad packs on the first tier and 34 on the second tier. Bear in mind, all of these 34 ad packs we bought with money that was accumulated by the system. So now when my first 100 ad packs expire, which will happen around here, I will be left with the 34 that I've purchased on the second tier, but I would already have $200, 204 in fact, or around there. Of course, this is not a fixed figure, but it will be something around that figure. I would have this figure ready to take it out, and I'm gonna take, in my case, for this example, I used 200, which will buy me 40 packs on the first level as soon as the first 100 expire. So when my first cycle is finished and I enter the second cycle, I enter it with 40 packs on the first level and 34 on the second level, which makes a total of $710 in the system. So realistically, I've added 30% on top of the money that I started with. I've added $200, which is probably 40% in fact on 500. I haven't estimated it that, but I started with 500, and at the end of the first cycle I have 700. So now I'm entering my second cycle with more money than I started. And my advice, this is the strategy that I'm going to recommend, is my advice will be for the first 2 cycles, repurchase with all of your money. Build up your account, reach the $1,000 in your account, which will happen after the second cycle, and only then you can start withdrawing, because even $1,000 is not really that much in this system. With $1,000 in the system, you wouldn't really have that much money to withdraw per day. You will need much more. So let's say that we max out the first 2 levels, which means that you have in the system 2,000, and that will bring you around $6 per day that you can take without lowering the amount of your ad packs. So if you want to continue building up and keeping that amount of ad packs in the system, you will be taking $6 per day, which is $180 a month. You know, more or less, this is how it's gonna go. You need around 2,000 in the system to take 200 a month. If you have 1,000 in the system, you are taking out 100 a month. And if you want to take 100 a week, which is around 400 a month, that means you need to have 4,000 in the system. This is basically the easiest way to calculate stuff. $2,000 will bring you around $200 a month residual, because you have 6 per day and 30 days is 180. It will be just under $200 a month. But if you're only looking at having something like 100, that means you can go down to 50 packs here, and with $1,250 in the system, you're making around $4 per day. And this is without reducing the amount of ad packs you have. And this $4 per day is $120 a month. So this is easy. I think 1,250 is very easy to achieve. It's something that many people will probably even start with. Many people will try to even max out the first 2 levels. But of course, if you only start with 500, it will take you probably 3 cycles and you will get there. So it's not even that long in order to achieve that. If you want to recover seed money, because I know that some people would probably not feel that secure to stay for 3 months accumulating and compounding without taking out anything. So the other strategy that I can lay out is, you see how here I stopped repurchasing for the last week. So what you can do is you can accumulate some funds, and let's say from this 200 you can take 100 for yourself, and then you will start the next cycle with 610, not 700, but that doesn't really matter. It will slow you down a little bit, but you've recovered 100 from your 500 original, and that means after another cycle you can recover another 100 or even 150, in which case you would have recovered half of your seed money after the second cycle. And each cycle is about a month, you know, just over a month. So it's not even that long. Then on the next cycle you can take another 150, and on the 4th cycle you can take another 150, and you've recovered your seed money. So this is, if you want to recover seed money first and then build up account for a residual income, you can do that as well. This is the second strategy that I'm giving in this video. I can do more videos where I'm going to explain these strategies a bit more in detail, but generally this is how it goes for people who have already worked with revshares. I'm pretty sure this is quite clear and you know what I'm talking about. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, then just watch out for my next video. Subscribe to my channel, guys, and I'm going to do a few more updates where I'm going to explain these strategies and how it works, and you know, how can you recover seed money first. Should you recover seed money first, or should you build up? My personal strategy would be to build up for at least a couple of cycles before I worry about recovering. But you know, this is not something that everyone wants to do. So look out for my next videos, guys. They're coming very soon.